Hey.
No.
Yeah, this is the beat. Here we go.
Hey.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Call me Romel the way I'm him.
Yeah.
Call me a fish the way I fin.
Yeah.
Call me a fish the way call me a fish the way I swim.
Yeah.
Sound like the
that's all.
Kendrick
That's all
album.
I get, man. 3 bars. Oh, I'm live. What's going on, man? Man, what a great song, by the way. How you guys doing, man? I'm HK, but I'm also here to introduce Brockhampton, man. What's going on, Brockhampton? What's up? This is I Miss the Band Already radio. Let's do roll call. Start with me. All right, so like I said, I'm HK.
I am Nick. I am John.
This is Romel.
Merlin.
This is Kevin Abstract.
Jabari here.
This is Don McLennan.
What's up? This is Matt Champion.
Hey, this is Joba. Checking in with you live.
Hey, big sexy.
I'm Kieran.
And I'm Kiko.
Wow. We're gonna be talking about the Saturation series today, talking about some of the things that, you know, kicked all the stuff off that you guys are familiar with.
I guess we should start in 2017. Does anyone want to kind of set the scene of what Brockhampton was doing in 2017?
We're talking about the face beat.
So that was like a really old beat that I made, and I was going through old beats, and it sounded completely different, and it had a bunch of bullshit in it. And so I started like stripping it down, and that's like when you hopped out the shower. It was basically
Yo.
and then you like started singing the melody. Yeah, 'cause I was playing on the speakers in me and HK's room.
I just remember being on tour and somebody, I don't know if it was sent in the group chat or if y'all sent it to Ian or something. I just remember hearing the song in the Sprinter. That was like the first time you hear like the Brockhampton like chemistry on a song. Like it felt like that we had figured it out after like years of trying to.
Yeah, because like even like on the stuff we did before that, like with AAT, it was like some of the songs.
It's like a
weren't
compilation,
produced-
yeah.
They weren't produced by like you or Kiko. They were produced by like other outside folks, and like it was just some of us rapping on them, and like sometimes be one person rapping on them. So.
But when we made when you guys made Face, we didn't even have like Saturation in mind yet. I don't think Saturation was a thing until we were all in the living room that one day.
Yep.
We should talk about the living room, man.
Yeah.
We should talk
HK,
about the living room.
Segue there.
Well, I remember walking into the living room, and Ian goes, "What's the first word that comes to your brain?" Count of 3, and I just froze. I was like, I don't know what this is about. And then everybody sat in a circle throwing out names, and I remember somebody saying Saturation. And HK gets up, throws his hat on the ground.
That's it. That's the one. Saturation.
As soon as they made that flyer, everybody went and started recording music. I think we.
Yo, Bari used to be in like the hallway outside of the house, like with his laptop out, like making beats, like in the alley. In the alley.
The alley, good times, good times.
Like 10 hours straight. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, a good bit of them was made in the alley, but I remember Star specifically, we were, I feel like you guys were working on Trip in your room.
We had like an assembly line set up. Bari and Kiko would be making beats, I'd be making beats, and then everybody would send everything to my room, and we just all record songs.
The sweatiest
Like,
room of all time.
No AC, like 18 hours a day, just recording nonstop. As soon as we get something done, we'll send it to Joba. He'd mix it. Ian, HK, Ashland, whoever would sit down, come up with the video ideas like immediately. We'd like finish a song, and while we were like recording it, Ian would like take people and like have them shoot shots for the video and everything. Everything was really fast. I think the whole album was like 3 weeks.
The way I remember it, it was like from Monday to like Friday we would record, and then from like Friday to like Friday to that next Monday we'd shoot videos, and then they'd be done by that next Friday to come out. So it was like a rotating cycle. Talk about writing Stardom. That shit was fun. We were like writing some like really heavy shit at that time, so it was like when I heard that beat, I was just like, yo, let's like not take things too seriously. So I just started name dropping like a bunch of different movies and actors and like TV shows and shit like that. And I was just like, okay, how obscure can I get with this shit? So like started with like Bruce Campbell and like Anthony Hopkins and like going into like the horror world, and then like going into like the really obscure comedy world with like Molly Shannon and shit like that. And it was just like, how far can we take this? And I remember showing it to Amir, and like as soon as I showed it to him, he like came with his first 2 bars, and I was like, yo, this is nuts. And then showing it to Kevin, and then Kevin like immediately was like Heath Ledger with some dreads. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is crazy.
Whose favorite out of the trilogy is Saturation 1?
I'm gonna have to
Anybody?
claim that.
You're gonna claim that?
Yeah. I remember every song. I remember the move. I remember the sacrifice. I remember the camaraderie, for lack of a better word, and just like comfort in each other that we found because we actually did it. Long before we even knew what we were doing, we did it. And it was dope because I felt understood in a way that to this day I still cherish and rely on in certain ways. And when I hear that album, in tandem with all the memories and like imagery that I see in my mind, and like the ambition that I knew I had mixing it, and like just seeing everyone going for it, it was such a challenge for me.
I was gonna ask you about mixing that.
Well, I'm not even talking about like mixing it, but more so just I remember I'd sit in the room in Romel's room on the bed, and I'd just watch people come to the mic, even throw the mic around. Like I remember there were times we literally just throw an SM7B across the room, and like people couldn't wait to just say whatever the fuck it was.
Well, for you specifically, I remember like you were really looking to come into your own more as a writer and like more as like a not just as like a vocalist and a singer, but as a rapper as well too. You were really like, I feel like that was the first time in a while where you really started like digging back into that world, and the progress that you've made in that has been insane.
Well, same to you, man. I remember you were saying like, man, I really want to sing.
Yeah, we were like kind of teaching each other,
Yeah.
like in the as we were going. You know what I'm saying? I remember I got so much advice from you from singing, and I'd like talk to you about like verses and like, yo, like your verses are hard as fuck, bro. Like,
I just remember like learning from everyone, but like you specifically, and this is a memory I really want to touch on because I remember there was one session in particular where you rapped for like 35 minutes on the mic. And I just remember I was like, well, so much for what I wrote, you know, like, god damn.
I remember we used to have to take like forced breaks because there was no AC in the house.
oh
We'd be
yeah, no,
recording in the
computer
summer,
overheat.
and everyone's computers would like overheat.
Yep.
And
That
same
shit's
Like,
great.
a lot of those songs sound so urgent because they were actually like made out of a sense of urgency. It's like I need to get this thing done now, or else like
My computer won't
my
work.
won't actually
Yeah, I'll have
work.
literally have to wait until it gets darker and wait until like 11 or 12 o'clock to like start recording again, because like from I want to say maybe from like 5 to like 10 it was just absolutely sweltering heat. That shit was crazy.
It was.
And we just write to the beats when we couldn't like record, or we'd like work on video.
The hours you guys were putting were crazy. I remember like one night we finished recording at like 3 a.m. I go to bed, and then literally at like 6 or 7 a.m. Ian wakes me up and he's like, yo, can we record something? I have an idea. And then we do like 4 songs right away. It was Milk was one of them, and then the second half of the Star video. Do you guys remember that song? That song
Wait,
was
which one?
recorded.
Yeah.
The second half of the Star
Oh,
video.
perfect. Yeah.
Perfect's great.
That song was recorded that night too.
I remember though that specific time when y'all would just lock in.
Those
Like,
are some of my
way
favorite
out-
nights
it was
because I
like
would just
after hours.
Yeah, I used to sleep like right outside your room, so I just go to bed hearing like my favorite shit
So
being
many
made.
songs.
Do you guys remember naming the songs?
Some of them, yeah.
Because we didn't actually name any of the demos. We were making so many songs. We would just number them.
It was like Saturation 106,
Saturation 1,
87,
2, 3, 4,
Saturation
5.
84, yeah.
One time, Kieran asked to borrow my guitar for something. I was like, sure. And then when he handed it back to me, it was in a really weird tuning, and I didn't know what any of the notes were, and I just kept fiddling around on it, and it ended up being like the guitar part for Cash. But I would not have made that if he didn't fuck up my tuning.
Proper tune.
Yeah, you know, Saturation 2 is my favorite album from the trilogy.
What was your mindset in Saturation 2, Kevin? How was it different than the first Saturation?
The first one, I think my mindset personally was like just trying to get on, and the second one, I think I was like, oh shit, like we're close. Let's go really hard.
I love doing Saturation 2 live, and I also remember the video process being really fun because weren't we going week by week?
Yeah.
And that was the first.
We hadn't figured out what the next video was till after the first video was
Yeah,
done.
like we put out Swamp, and people were like kind of trashing the video.
Yeah.
And then we went really, and kind of the song too. They're like, oh, they're doing the same thing over and over. And then we like went really crazy and with Junkie.
And
We're
then,
kind of like reacting to the reactions sometimes,
yeah.
which was fun.
I feel like that's the cool and terrifying thing about Bark Hansen is just like music in the digital age where you can instantly get feedback on anything you do. That's an amazing power, but also an amazing like monkey on your back. You always have a critic right beside you.
It's interesting that we embraced the audience as much as we did and like allowed them to be a part of the painting.
Yeah.
We give them the paintbrush, and I think that was good and bad. But when it was good, it was great, really, because then you're kind of like all building like this like collective together.
All right, guys, let's figure out who loves Saturation 3 the most out of the trilogy.
I personally am a huge fan of Sat 3. That's my favorite out of the trilogy.
Oh wow,
What
why?
do you love the most about it, man?
I feel like it's a nice grab bag of variety, and shows our range. It shows how locked in we are as a boy band, because we have tracks like Hottie on there. We have songs like Bleach. You know what I mean?
Saturation 3 was a crazy process. My room was the main recording studio for these 3 albums. And people would just sit on like my little twin bed and like record on the SM7. So it'd be like 12 people in a room that should not be fitting 12 people. So a lot of those songs, it sounds like the mic is getting passed around because that's literally what was happening.
That room smelled zesty.
That's not my fault. Y'all were all in there eating McDonald's and Taco Bell. I think we should all pick a song and talk about it.
One of my favorite songs from that era, the Best Years of Our Lives era, is Bankroll. Bankroll is off Roadrunner by Brockhampton. It's just one of those jams that like it was a long time coming. So like seeing it finally come to fruition is like, bro. Me and Romil, we see Skepta and A$AP Rocky at the Sydney Opera House. We're like, bro, this totally blew our minds. It's like hip hop in the Sydney Opera House. Who would have ever thought of that, dude? Right. And then afterwards, we're at the studio. We're just super inspired. We're like, bro, let's make a hit. Let's make a classic shit tonight. Like Skepta is over there on a laptop. He's like, do, make some crazy like grime shit. A$AP Rocky is he's just hype as hell, rapping, like teaching me about all this different rapper shit, high level stuff, rapper etiquette. Most people won't understand. And that was where Bankroll started, and it wasn't until years later that we actually finished the track. We teased it that year, but like it never came out for years. I didn't think it was gonna come out at a certain point, but thank God, golly gee, that it did.
If A$AP Rocky was like Merlin, would you leave
I'll
everything?
say yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty torn, guys. I don't know what my best or favorite song is from this era, but one that comes to mind for me, I have to say San Marcos.
Word. It's a great song.
That song was just really heavy. And it was very insightful, and it was hopeful, it was aspirational, it was ambitious, and it was a part of an era that I can say was more than likely some of the more memorable moments of my life.
Did you guys work on San Marcos and Abbey Road?
We did.
What was that like?
I remember the people at the front desk were saying it was like the first time that kids were like outside waiting for a group at Abbey Road since like the Beatles were there. Fucking crazy. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Brockhampton bigger than the Beatles, bro. Me too. John, what's your favorite song?
I'd probably say New Orleans. At least that's coming to mind right now. Why? I don't know. Why? I would say a big memory with that one is when we got shut down at Camp Flog Gnaw.
Man. Fire Marshal.
That was
sick
crazy.
shit.
I feel like that really set it off. Like the energy was just
Jesus
crazy.
Christ. The We Are the Champions intro was nuts.
The Queen intro.
Yeah,
sick.
that shit was so
Jaden came
fire.
out for it.
Queen intro's really sick.
That was awesome.
One that's most memorable to make for me was probably Buzzcut, because that's in like the depths of the pandemic and like nobody's seeing each other. Everybody started like DJing at that time. We got like CDJs and we'd like go upstairs and make songs and then come downstairs and like DJ them for each other. And I just remember like Ian chopping that sample one day and just texting me like a voicemail of it, like he recorded on his phone. And I just remember we worked on the song for like months and months and months, and we didn't get the outro until like 8 months later. Because normally we make our music very quick and then we put it out. And it was nice to just have like patience with the song and just sit with it and let the song like develop itself.
One thing I did like about this era though was Kieran, you start rapping more. What made you want to like kind of like explore that?
I don't know. I think like I just wanted to do something like different than I've done before. I don't know. I was just kind of like hearing it more in the songs, and it was because I was initially thinking it's like, oh, I could just like record this and then show it to like someone else in the group. It's like, oh, you should do it like this or like something. And I was like, all right, let me just try it myself. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Do you remember what the first song was?
I think it was Berlin was the first.
Yeah.
The first one.
HK, you should talk about.
My favorite song from this era, man. Well, one of my favorite albums is Ginger. I liked how pop we went on this go, and like towards like the back half of the album. Big Boy is such a really cool song to me.
I love that one. That was cool live with the lights.
I was about to say, like, the way it looked live was really, really cool, and like I liked how like personal it felt. Yeah, we were locked
I have
in.
very vivid memories of working on Wait. Took on a life of its own, just like transformed over time with that outro and everything.
Real lyrics. Cool idea or a cool memory as well. Like,
speak on it.
We and it involves you, Ramil. Whenever we all met Pharrell, and I remember I smoked a cigarette, put it out, came on the bus. Ramil's just like on the tour bus, this like slow ass, because out there they're double decker buses, so the ceiling's like, I'm tall, so I gotta like. And he was sitting there, and like everything just felt like compressed, and he's just like.
You were juiced.
And I was like,
up, bro. Shit
Ramil,
was crazy.
like, what is that? Can I hear it? And it was the outro to Wait. And I remember.
Oh my god!
And I remember I was like, I'm gonna do something on that. I was like, I have to do something on that.
Originally, I was gonna pick Wait, but I think that as I've been thinking about it, Dearly Departed might be like one of my favorite moments as well too. I think that like with everything that was going on in the world and in our lives and stuff like that, I like really had like a deep sense of like empathy for what my peers were going through. You know what I'm saying? Also, candidly, like watching the like court of public opinion like attack my friends for trying their best to make the right decision. I just wanted to, you know, have a moment in my life where I could live in my truth and clear the air for us to an extent, to let people know that like, hey, like we're hurting, but this is what we stand for and this is how we feel. And even if it's not all congruent, even if it's conflicting, that's okay, because like that's life, and like that's how friends are and friends can be, you know.
I love St. Percy because I really enjoyed that being the opening song on our tour. Because the way that we had everybody come out one by one, I just thought that was sick. I also love I'll Take You On.
Uncle Charlie.
That wasn't the case when it was trying.
I know when I heard that Charlie, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. That was what sold me.
I'll say Wildfire, I guess, because I really like that song.
Nice.
And I liked it live. We were watching it live.
Banger. What's your favorite beat that you made for that series?
Wildfire's up there. Like, that's kind of probably also epic. It just feels good and like
that's one of the
nostalgic.
best rim shots I ever heard in my life, bro. My favorite part of this era is seeing y'all get money, man.
Okay.
Honestly, bro, because we used to live in South Central, 16 of us in one house. Yeah. And then I'd go to y'all's houses. I'd see, you know, Prada, Balenciaga. I see the cars. I go to Bari Studio. I see like 8 cents. I saw all this outboard gear. I go to Jova's studio. I would see 8 1073s. It was really awesome to see all of my friends like win together. And then traveling the world, touring, going to all these different places to recording at Abbey Road, making Tanya in Hawaii, going to Texas and all these other places to record.
One thing I do like too about this era, especially towards the latter half, was bringing other people into the BH world. I like how Roadrunner has features from like JPEG Mafia. You know, Rocky Fur. Shawn Mendes has, you know, vocals on Count on Me. Like, I think it was cool to like bring people into the BH, you know, universe.
Came in?
We got a caller.
Who is it?
Me?
SK.
I'm the caller.
SK.
Can you show us your cough?
Hey, cough on command.
You did it. You did it earlier. You was coughing the whole phone call.
There we go.
Oh my god. That was terrible.
So you can fake it.
My bad, Joe. I didn't mean to cut
Doing a terrible job.
We're in this together.
I'm gonna buy you some acting classes for Christmas.
It's a great gift.
Faking?
Yes.
Can they hear?
Can they hear?
Love y'all.
Can you speak up, man?
Why do y'all think I'm faking this?
We still can't hear you.
We should give out HK's phone
Yell
number so
louder.
everyone can check
Yell
on him.
louder.
That's really
There's nothing I
considerate.
can do,
Right?
bro.
Can you cough louder so the people in the audience can hear you?
This is the loudest I can be, man.
I hung up.
What do you guys think was unique about making TM?
Well, it's almost like a melting pot of a lot of different times and a lot of different work. We made FMG and it was, I really wanted to make it this crunchy hellhole. I just wanted to start it like that, and then Goodbye just felt like exactly what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
It feels like a goodbye.
Do you think you'll work with other Brockhampton members?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Hell no. No, I'm kidding. They don't want me to. Nobody, ever since Brockhampton ended, bro, nobody's hit me up for beats, man. I need a new job. Anyways, we should play duct tape, guys. Speaking of beats, like, what are you guys gonna miss about Brockhampton?
The big ass green room, just being able to like run into a different room and see a friend.
Oh,
Talking about at a show?
Yeah, the shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will miss learning about you guys through your artistic contributions to the shared goals.
There's this weird synergy the group had, where we were really good at like finishing each other's sentences creatively. Or I knew I could start something even if I don't know or where to take it. I could pass it to somebody and they would know how to complete the sentence. So I'll miss that, but I'm also excited to like find that for myself. Is everyone staying in music?
I'm not staying in music.
What you finna do?
I'm gonna go back to school.
For real?
Really?
Yeah,
You done with music?
I'm done.
I'm staying in music.
Skipping.
Joba is in music.
Yeah.
Yeah, HK in music.
HK is getting
He
into
announced
music.
Yeah, he announced that the
Oh
first
yeah, HK is
episode.
getting into it. You got
Yo,
some crazy beats.
HK shit sounds crazy.
That's supportive of
All right, guys, I'll stay. I'll keep making music, guys. Okay.
Thanks, kid.
All right. God.
Why is this the right time to move on, guys?
I just feel like everyone is mutually feeling the same way. You know how we have these moments in life where we're like, oh yeah, we graduated. I feel like we got a diploma now. Like
Can't stay in
we got a
school
diploma
forever.
in like Brockhampton. I don't know, man. It's a feeling for me. I can't describe it.
I feel like that's a good point, though.
I feel like
You just
everyone
said, yeah.
feels something similar to the same tune.
It's hard to put a nail on it.
I think a lot of that's just excitement for the future and stepping into the unknown again. I feel like you can never be too comfortable. I believe in myself more than I ever have because I've proven that it's possible. Like I would be a hypocrite to sit here and say that like I don't think anyone sitting on this couch could do whatever the fuck they want to do moving forward. Because I've seen it all in everyone.
Well, I hope you keep that same energy for the rest of your life. This has been an episode of I Miss the Band Already Radio. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of Brockhampton. And, we'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.
Bye.